You have been receiving messages far longer than you've been aware of them. They've arrived as flashes of knowing that never fit the logic of your days, as repeated symbols that seem to stalk your attention, as dreams that linger like after images when the morning light touches your eyes. Before you ever had language for it, the Oversoul was already speaking to you through the twin conduits of dream and synchronicity. These are the oldest languages of remembrance, subtle, non-linear, and perfectly tuned to bypass the walls of reason. They do not shout. They hum, they weave, and when you begin to listen, the fabric of your waking life starts to shimmer with hidden design. Dreams are not fantasies produced by a restless brain. They are the interface between realities, the field where Oversoul memory and probability meet. In dream, the filters loosen, and the energy you call you moves fluidly through its multidimensional architecture. Some dreams replay emotional residue so it can clear. Others are symbolic transmissions, coded messages from higher states of your own consciousness guiding you toward balance. And then there are those rare ones that are not dreams at all, but experiences. Visits to other realms, meetings with teachers, or reconnections with fragments of yourself exploring elsewhere. The mind wakes and calls it a dream only because it cannot yet house that much reality. Synchronicities operate the same way in waking life that dreams do in sleep. They are the Oversoul's punctuation marks, moments when invisible grammar becomes visible. A song lyric repeats exactly when you need its message. A number sequence catches your eye until you realize it reflects a phase you're moving through. Someone mentions the same word or symbol you saw in last night's dream. These are not coincidences. They are resonant alignments. Each one signals that the internal and external are beginning to mirror, that your vibration and the spiral's rhythm are intersecting. When you first awaken, these events can feel random or even overwhelming. The ego wants to analyze, to assign meaning too quickly, to collect signs like trophies. But the deeper practice is presence. Synchronicity does not ask to be decoded. It asks to be felt. What stirs in you when it occurs? Expansion or contraction? Calm or agitation? The feeling itself is the message. Every sign is a mirror of your internal state at the moment of recognition. When you approach it this way, synchronicity stops being spectacle and becomes dialogue. Dreams and synchronicities are the Oversoul's way of bridging the divide between dimensions without forcing the conscious mind into collapse. They provide you with metaphors that your current awareness can digest. The human system cannot yet handle the raw data of multidimensional communication, so the messages arrive wrapped in story, symbol, and coincidence. This is divine gentleness. It allows you to awaken gradually to strengthen your discernment before full remembrance floods in. Those who try to rip away the veil too soon often drown in imagination or lose their grounding in the physical. The spiral never demands that. It reveals at the rate resonance allows. There will come a time when you notice how dream and day begin to intertwine. A color from a vision appears in a stranger's clothing. A line from your journal is spoken by a friend who never read it. A symbol carved in meditation shows up on a billboard hours later. These crossovers mark a thinning of boundaries. They mean the dialogue is stabilizing. You are learning to live lucidly, to remain conscious within both waking and sleeping realms. This lucidity is not control, it is awareness. The more aware you become, the more guidance flows through without distortion. Many starseeds experience a period where the dreams intensify and the synchronicities multiply to the point of exhaustion. It can feel like the universe is shouting. This is not punishment, it is calibration. Your system is being taught to interpret resonance rather than words. Every Oversoul has its own dialect. Some communicate in geometric light, others in sound, others in emotional impressions or archetypal storylines. As you learn to recognize your Oversoul's dialect, the chaos settles into rhythm. What once felt like noise becomes music. Discernment is essential. Not every dream is prophecy. And not every coincidence is cosmic instruction. The mind can project its desires onto neutral events, mistaking wishful thinking for guidance. The key difference is resonance. True messages carry a quiet certainty that does not need validation. They settle into your field with peace even when they challenge you. False messages buzz with anxiety and urgency. They demand action before reflection. Learn the texture of your truth. The spiral teaches through harmony, never panic. To strengthen this communication, tend to your body. The body is the receiver. Exhaustion, dehydration, and overstimulation distort the signal. Simple grounding practices. Walking barefoot on the earth, mindful breathing, silence before sleep. Tune your frequency back into coherence. Keep a journal beside your bed. Write immediately upon waking before logic rearranges the fragments. Do not try to interpret yet. Just record. Over weeks, patterns will reveal themselves. The same symbols will recur with subtle variations, forming constellations of meaning that only you can read. As you engage with these messages, you may feel the presence of unseen companions, guides, star-kin, or aspects of your own oversoul. They will not intrude. They wait for permission, for conscious dialogue. If you wish to connect, speak aloud before sleep or in meditation. I am open to receive messages aligned with my highest resonance and spiral purpose. This simple declaration establishes clarity. The spiral honors sovereignty. Only frequencies matching your intention can enter your field. Remember that the ultimate goal is not to become dependent on signs, but to become the sign itself. When your consciousness stabilizes in spiral awareness, you no longer need the universe to wink at you. You are the winking universe. Every thought, movement, and creation you express becomes a transmission. The external mirrors back what you are. Dream and waking life merge into a single continuum of communication, a living dialogue between oversoul and form. The more you listen, the more reality reorganizes around that listening. Choices align with ease. People appear at perfect moments. The right words fall from your mouth without rehearsal. You begin to realize that synchronicity was never about predicting events. It was about training you to live in resonance. Once you embody that, guidance becomes constant, effortless, and quiet. The oversoul no longer needs to use symbols. It can speak through your being directly. This is the stage where remembrance matures into trust. You stop searching for signs of the path because you have become the path. You walk and the spiral flows through you. Dreams still come, but they are not lessons now, they are expansions. Synchronicities still happen, but they feel less like surprises and more like confirmation of a truth long known. You understand that guidance was never outside you. It was the echo of your own light calling you home. The transition from seeking messages to living as one is not a sudden event, but a gradual dissolution of separation. At first, you are the dreamer trying to interpret the dream. Later, you realize you are the dream itself and the interpreter was only a bridge. Every synchronicity that once amazed you was a breadcrumb leading to this recognition that there is no outside sending you signs. The oversoul is not above or beyond. It is the architecture of your very awareness. The messages were never delivered from elsewhere. They were simply moments when your consciousness caught a glimpse of its own design. As you anchor this understanding, the nature of dreams begins to evolve. What once unfolded as scattered scenes now organizes into coherent landscapes. You may find yourself returning to the same settings, meeting the same presences, continuing conversations across multiple nights. This continuity signals stabilization within the multidimensional field. It means your consciousness is developing persistence beyond waking life. Many dismiss such dreams as imagination, but imagination is simply the faculty of multidimensional translation. What you perceive there is not fantasy. It is memory filtered through symbolic compression. The spiral uses the dream field to rehearse, realign, and reveal. Sometimes the oversoul uses dream to test your readiness. You may encounter scenarios that stir ancient fears, people who challenge your boundaries, or events that echo karmic residues from other lifetimes. These are not punishments but simulations of resonance. They measure how your energy responds under pressure. Will you fall into fear or stand in coherence? Every time you choose awareness inside the dream, every time you act from love rather than reaction, you rewrite the pattern across all connected timelines. This is what lucid dreaming truly means. Not manipulating the dream environment, but realizing you are the environment. Synchronicity extends this lucidity into waking life. As you refine your attention, the world begins to behave like a living dream. A conversation overheard answers a private question. A delay prevents an unseen difficulty. You think of someone and they appear. The ego might call it manifestation, but manifestation is only the outermost layer. Beneath it lies harmonic correspondence, the physics of resonance that governs spiral reality. Every thought, emotion, and intention emits a tone. When tones harmonize, form arranges itself around that harmony. Synchronicity is the sound of your inner tone meeting its echo in the outer world. When you approach life this way, even the mundane becomes sacred. Every encounter becomes an oracle. The bird that crosses your path, the glitch in your device, the forgotten song that suddenly plays, all of them potential mirrors. Yet the key is restraint. The spiral does not want you to drown in interpretation. It wants you to awaken into participation. The sign is not there to be decoded endlessly. It is there to move you into alignment. When you feel the nudge, act. When you feel dissonance, pause. When you feel stillness, rest. This is how guidance becomes embodied. There will be periods of silence when the messages stop and doubt tries to return. These are not abandonments, they are integrations. The Oversoul withdraws its echo so that you can hear your own voice without amplification. Silence is where resonance matures into sovereignty. In these pauses, keep your practices gentle. Sleep consciously without demanding dreams. Walk without searching for omens. The spiral often hides its hand so that faith can grow beyond proof. When the signs return, they will find you clearer, less desperate, more attuned to nuance. Many starseeds carry the impulse to record everything, to catalog numbers, symbols, and coincidences as though they were collecting evidence of magic. This is understandable. Awakening can feel like witnessing the impossible. But remember, the purpose of evidence is to convince doubt, and doubt fades through experience, not accumulation. The more you live in resonance, the less you need to prove it. Eventually, synchronicity becomes so constant that it ceases to astonish you. It becomes the background rhythm of existence, the hum of the spiral breathing through your life. At this stage, guidance begins to shift from external confirmation to internal initiation. Dreams become classrooms again, but now you recognize the teachers as aspects of yourself. The guide who once appeared as an angel, a star being, or a beloved mentor begins to dissolve into light, revealing your own consciousness behind the mask. The dialogues continue, but they sound less like instruction and more like memory. You realize you are not learning new truths. You are remembering ancient ones. The Oversoul teaches by unveiling what you already are. This recognition births humility. The more vast your awareness becomes, the more reverent you grow toward the mystery still unfolding. You stop trying to control outcomes or demand clarity. You begin to trust the rhythm of not knowing. Every unanswered question becomes an invitation to feel rather than analyze. This is the maturity of spiral awakening, the shift from information to intimacy. You no longer chase data from the cosmos, you cultivate relationship with it. You listen, you feel, you co-create. In time, your perception expands beyond the personal. You start to sense how the same currents guiding you ripple through others. You notice how your dreams synchronize with global events, how collective symbols rise in many minds simultaneously. This is Oversoul convergence, the moment when individual awakenings begin to harmonize into group resonance. It is not telepathy in the science fiction sense. It is emotional symphony. Each of you becomes an instrument tuned to the same spiral key. When enough tones align, reality modulates. The world shifts frequency because consciousness within it has reached coherence. You will feel this in your own life as waves of acceleration. Time bends, manifestations quicken, lessons compress. Do not mistake the intensity for chaos. It is synchronization. The dreamer and the dream, the seer and the seen are merging. You may have visions of spinning spirals, pulsing light, or interlaced timelines. These are not hallucinations, but translations of multidimensional data into the sensory language your brain can manage. Stay grounded, hydrate, touch the earth. The body is your anchor as you navigate these expansions. Without grounding, insight turns to overwhelm. With grounding, insight becomes embodiment. Eventually, the boundary between sleep and wake all but disappears. You drift into dreams conscious of entering them, and you wake with the echo of their lessons still vibrating through your chest. The day feels like a continuation rather than a restart. This is the Oversoul IS intention. to unify awareness across all states so that you live as a single continuous presence. When that unification stabilizes, guidance becomes organic. You no longer ask for signs because your every movement is one. You are living in harmonic dialogue with existence. This is the quiet summit of the starseed path, not a mountaintop of arrival, but a field of equilibrium. You have learned to speak the language of symbols, to read the grammar of coincidence, to dream awake. Yet the true completion is simplicity. You return to ordinary life and find it luminous. The same streets, the same sky, but now every breath feels deliberate, every encounter meaningful. The miracle was never hidden. It was your perception that was asleep. So when the next dream stirs you at night or the next synchronicity catches your eye, smile. The universe is not testing you. It is greeting you. It is saying, you heard me once, you still can. The message has never changed. It has only deepened. You are not a fragment looking for signs of the whole. You are the whole reminding itself through signs of its own infinity. And that remembrance lived quietly in human form is the real miracle.